Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti via Zoom again on this Wednesday afternoon today. Pete, we had the 5 runners last weekend as we previewed last week. I thought 3 of them ran particularly well. One was disappointing and one might have just had a few excuses.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think all horses were beating in the vicinity of 2 to 2.5 lengths, Darren. So, and I think we had 2 fifths and 2 sevenths or roundabout. So, to show you how competitive it can be in town, you can run close to the winner and not weigh in. Or I think we were hoping we may have weighed in with all 4. We weren't too far away. We'll kick off.
The margins were quite good. So
yeah.
Well, let's go to Flemington.
Yep. Well, we'll kick off with, in terms of the market and what we thought the disappointing run was South Pacific. I think he finished 5th. He was only beaten 2.6, but he was probably never going to win from 400 metres out.
Yeah, I thought she gave him the run of the race, but gee, he didn't find anything. Didn't find anything at all in the last 200. To be beaten, only 2.6, but I think it was just the way he got beat. Yeah, I don't know. He ticked a lot of boxes there Saturday compared to the run before. I know he started favourite, and I wasn't that confident. I thought he would have run a place. Now they say he's come to the end of the prep and he needs a good break. But we're in the process of working with the owners whether we do want to push on with this horse or move him on, and we'll make a final decision on the voting by Friday to see where it's standing. But there's a solid chance that he will go in the next online sale.
I think, to be fair, considering the run the winner had, Shabu, we probably should have run second. He sort of stacked him up and then kicked away, and we had his back. I think, we were disappointing not to at least run second. Next horse up was Mr. Moneybags. Now, he's an 84 rater in an open handicap. He was beaten 2.3. Home turn, it looked like he may have been right in the finish. Again, he was only beaten 2.3 lengths. Second up, it was a good run. We'll speak about him pretense because he's going to back up again back up at Caulfield again on Saturday, back in his grade. But he was okay, Moneybags.
Yeah, well, that was second up. I just thought that run was good. It'll bring him to his top now, so wherever he goes next time, there won't be any excuses. He'll be right in it. So, against those open handicappers, second up, he ran. That was a pass mark.
Yep. The Ori Star, we had Serious Suspect first up. There was a bit of hoo-ha before the race with a horse, I think, just drawn inside him, got vet checked. The horse, actually, he was pretty good himself. He didn't get stirred up, and this is the words coming from Oliver. He's just a little tardy away, and he ran well again. He was only beaten 2.5 lengths, but it was a good, strong race. The fit horses fought out the finish, but he battled on well. Yeah, definitely a pass mark first up in that grade of race.
Yeah, I thought he ran well. In fact, all the horses that were first up ran well without winning, and the horses that have been racing through the winter dominated.
Yeah.
This race was actually brought forward 2 weeks from where it traditionally sat, and it was to tie in the conclusion of that winter racing. That probably didn't suit us. And I remember that we missed a trial due to the race-free week. So we did go in underdone. Traditionally, what would have happened is we would have probably ran the handicap and then went into the Ori Star in 2 weeks' time. But obviously that race has been brought forward. So, it's a strange situation. I understand why they brought it forward. But in the old days, I think when we had the good sprinter Uxorius, we went to the Spring Stakes in Adelaide, which is on this Saturday, and then 2 weeks later into the Ori Star, 2 weeks later into the Bobby Lewis. So from a selfish perspective, Didn't fall our way. I thought for a horse that was first up, underdone against seasoned, hardened campaigners and pretty good horses, I thought he ran well. He'll obviously strip fitter for that. He'd never won first up. And, and unfortunately now where that race was, there is no suitable race. So now we've got a month before we go around again because there is no suitable race. So we've got to wait for the Bobby Lewis, which I assume a lot of those horses will wait for. And we'll just have to take our chances in a month.
Yeah, that's it. Throw that on the floor, that phone ringing. The following race was Hasseltoff. And to be fair, this was probably the pick of our 4 runners in terms of he got back in the field. Craig had him settled nice. He's finished off to be beaten, I think 1.7 or 2.1 or something. It was not far away. There was a horse outside him that got home a little bit better than us from back in the field. Both horses to me were the flashing light runs in the race, and gee, he's going to be hard to beat wherever he goes next over a mile or 1,700. Hasseltoff.
Yeah, that was that second up?
Second up, yeah, second up, and from 12 to 16. It's a good effort.
No, it was a bit of an eye-catching run. Obviously, the international horse that went past him on the outside, I think, was the Eustace Mar Eustace horse. Certainly looks very, very good. Our horse, I thought, was really brave. Got to the line good. Indicated that he's probably looking for 1,700 to 1,800 now. But given he got from 12 to 16, I thought it was pretty good. He's going well, this horse. Craig Williams gave him a really good report. Really liked the way he's matured and the way he raced. And, he can't help but feel he's in for a good preparation. But we all know, as we come into spring, it gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
So it's not about just running well and being promising. You're just going to be meeting the best. So, look, there's a nice race for him. We just need a bit of luck, and I'd like to tick it off sooner or later before it gets too hard.
Yeah, he was in at 84, and we know he can come back to 78. So I suppose it's nice that he matched it with some nice horses, and he had a few things against him, like I said, second up and trip. But I love the way he's come back. The owners should be happy and excited, I'd say.
I think your point's well made. The Jamie Carr got off Serious Suspect and got off Hasseltoff, Pete, and both those horses beat her horses home. So I saw you put that up on Twitter and copied her in.
Yeah, righto. I'm not that brave. Just shows you, sometimes you can have too many horses to select to ride. But I don't think we'll get Craig Williams off his back in a hurry.
No chance. And Damien Oliver said he would ride Serious Suspect as long as he didn't have a commitment with Godolphin.
Yeah, and you could actually tell in both those post-race interviews that they were more than happy with the run. So if you got D. Oliver and C. Williams in your corner, you half a chance to win the race in town.
Yeah, definitely.
Sunday we headed to Bendigo. Shine and Dandy progressed from 2,000 out to 24, but Jesus, after 200 metres, we were in trouble. We all kicked up. Both O'Brien's horses around in the breeches. Unfortunately, we were one of them. Finally got outside the leader, but you could tell a long way out. You're going to have to be really good to sort of finish anywhere near him. And look, he was probably playing late, but when you've only had 3 or 4 runs in your career and you set a task like that, it makes it tough.
Yeah, well, when you run a 2,400 at Bendigo, you start at the top of the straight and you run all the way down the straight to the first corner. And I think he went around that corner 6 wide. He might as well have turned right there and went back to the stripping sheds and not even bothered going around. because that's where the gate is back to the stables. He might have just turned right there and just went in and saved himself some effort, because if he didn't run 2,500 metres in that race, I'll give up. And of course you're going to get beat 100 yards when that happens. So anyway, he done it really hard. He done it really tough. And he pulled up really flat. So he's arrived back here today for a spell. He looks absolutely sensational, that horse. I'm going to video him tomorrow morning and send it out to the owners, because he could go to, well, they're not having a Melbourne show, but if they were having a Melbourne show in Equestrian, he could go there and he would win first prize. He's an absolute beautiful looking horse. And yeah, I'm in two minds. I know he probably doesn't warrant being in Danny's stables, and Danny said that. But he probably doesn't. It's hard to judge him on that race. It's really hard to judge him on that race because he was asked to do a lot. He's immature. More than likely, he doesn't handle real wet tracks. More than likely, he's going to get better with age. But I think when the owners see the video of him tomorrow, they'll be thinking long and hard about what they want to do going forward.
I reckon it's more than a valid point. Is we haven't seen him on top of the ground at all this whole prep, and some horses can turn their form around really quickly once they got good footing. And, Benny goes generally all right. You can see him getting into the track. And, yeah.
Well, when we originally bought Dandino for the Melbourne Cup program, we bought him on the basis that he was a firm track horse and he didn't like the wet. So it's a brave man to sack a horse that's had 4 or 5 career runs on a wet track.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Dad doesn't.
I agree. And if you've got rid of that run and went on the Cranbourne run, there's no way you'd be selling next start. So sometimes you've got to forgive them one, and there was circumstances involved.
Yeah.
I would love to hear the conversation once Danny O'Brien turned the video off, because not only did Johnny give ours a rough trot, he actually, his ride betted the favourite, which was O'Brien's, had to sit 3 wide. So the double whammy there.
Absolute disaster, really. But we don't want to say too much about jockeys, Pete. We don't want any fines coming out.
$4,000 fine, I'm out of here. Righto, so that's it. So some handy runs and some horses to look forward to as they progress into their preps. I'll throw that phone out the window in a minute. We might
have a phone.
Oh, he's silent, all right. It'll be turned right off. Oh, it's our freighter, Darren, Mr. Burke. We'll call him later. Runners going forward. Really look forward to one of these on Friday. The Piero with Archie, Piranha. I think that's how you pronounce it. Out to 1,400. We go from a little tight track at Warwick-Nabil to a big spacious track at Geelong, and they throw up barrier 1. Harry stays on. I would have rather drawn, well, anywhere bar 1. But she ran very well, this filly, on debut, and, you can only help but think she's going to eat up 1,400 if she can get some clear air.
She was very good first up, and yeah, she's one of the fillies that I'm looking forward to seeing run going forward, because she showed a lot of talent there. First up at Warwick-Nabil, where horses don't normally get wide, run off the corner and then run home. It doesn't happen. So she's obviously got above average ability. Archie likes her. Harry Coffey likes her a lot. And I'm really interested to see what she does do on Friday. Yeah, barrier 1's always a bit of a pest, because you can get caught up in traffic there, and if you kick up and you drop off, you look like a mug. If you go back and get cluttered up, you look like a mug. So I'm tipping Harry Coffey's going to be a mug of coffee by the end of it, and we'll just have to wait and see if he can pull out some miracle ride to get her off the fence at the right time and get her every chance to wind up and hit the line. But she's a talented filly, and I think she's one to follow.
Yeah, totally agree. Saturday we head to Caulfield. We spoke about Moneybags' good run at Flemington. He goes to a track where he's had 5 for 0, 0, 0. A lot of circumstances at Caulfield why he has a couple of unplaced runs, but we did go there as a $2.80 favourite on the back of a listed 4th, and we only finished 6th. I know there was a lot of long faces that day because I remember being there. But there's a couple other times he's been to Caulfield where it's either been really wet or it's 1,000 metres that you knew he wasn't going to perform. But he drops back to a benchmark 84. He's got 61, but young Lachlan Neendorf claims 2. Hope he doesn't have to remember where the owners are this weekend, young Neendorf, because he'll be that on track. So he's got 59. I haven't studied the race real deeply, but we're $26, and we were $26 in an open handicap last start, and he was only beaten 2 lengths. So if he backs up, he should be hard to beat.
He's a big price, isn't he? $26 in that field.
Yeah. Maybe they've looked at his form at Caulfield and the weight and all that, but gee.
Well, there is a horse in the race called Elephant that's unbeaten, Pete.
Yeah, down the weights a little bit.
4 starts, 4 wins. Yeah. I think that's a Kiwi horse.
Yeah. Well, as the
owners, it is. Actually, it's a horse. It's actually a horse I tried to buy last year.
Righto. Is that the one?
That was it.
Damien Lane's right.
That was it. Yeah. 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 They obviously didn't. They obviously didn't sell it. So.
Right.
It's quite shocking. It's pretty impressive animal, actually. Yeah, we watched a few of its races and put in a good offer, but not for sale, we're told. So here it is for the spring, Pete. So we'll find out whether we should have bought it or we saved our money. But look, I don't know. Caulfield, he's had a lot of goes at Caulfield. I hear what you say, that there's probably, I think there was only one race there that actually suited him and he ran flat. So I don't know. If you put a line through all that and go off his first, he's probably going there he's probably going there at the right time of the year. 3rd up, right distance, claim on. If he's ever going to win at Caulfield, he's probably going to win Saturday.
Yeah. Lindsay did mention that there's not much on the calendar for him in the next month, so he was happy to back up. He'd ate up. He said he was in great nick, so there's no excuses from that point of view. I think, not sure whether he's been on a 7-day backup. He may have there at one stage with Robbie. I can't remember, but anyway, well, I think the $6 a place. See what happens. Never Again, first up in the Regal Roller, the listed Regal Roller. I don't know what the weather's going to do because he's a horse that hates the wet.
It won't be wet.
Zach Spain's on, or if it's, yeah. I did notice today at Sandown.
Caulfield's a good 4.
Yeah, well, Sandown was upgraded to a good 3 today, and then it rained as soon as they upgraded it. So just shows you how well those tracks are drained in town.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's 100 to 1, Darren. So I think his best trip's 1,400. So I suppose he needs to get his campaign going somewhere, and he might as well be on his home track at Caulfield. Well,
there's some handy horses in that race. La Mexicana.
Yeah.
Away game. You might have heard of it. Zoo Dancer. There's some nice horses in that race. The Inferno even. So, look, he's first up. He needs further. I think he's got him set up for a race later on. I think he's best form 2nd up. He has won a couple of times first up. He does go better fresh. So, I think last prep he won 2nd and 3rd up at listed level. So, I suppose he's trying to train Regal Roller and he wants to have a crack at his own race.
Anyway,
he'll probably run a cheeky race and so get on me next go.
Well, if the calibre of horse you mentioned, it's not going to be pedestrian, the race. They'll get along a little bit, so he might get home nicely, just off the pace, take the hundreds and run 4th. We've got 3 or 4 others. Now, we've got no fields as we sit here now on Wednesday afternoon, but an Irishman's been nominated for a 1,200 metre race at Cranbourne. He did trial all right the other day. The stable are contemplating whether we trial again or go to the races. Thing is, these days with these trials, you trial it around on bog tracks. You're nearly better off going to the races and getting the same amount out of what you would with a trial. But I can understand them kicking him off over 1,200. They'll go along a little bit. This horse has always been a fierce goer, so hopefully, you know, if they roll along a little bit, he can settle and run home. We'll see what happens. Fields are out tomorrow.
All right.
Nothing to add?
Not an Irishman. No, I'm not sure if he's going to run, and I'm not sure what Cranbourne will be. But look, he's been leading. He was pulling his head off all last prep, and they were trying to get him to settle, but nothing was really working. So I'm not really sure what to expect with this horse this prep. But
No.
hopefully he's come back a bit. Hopefully he's come back a bit more professional than what he was. Looked like being real good early, but just got in that bad habit of wanting to charge all the time. So, yeah, Cranbourne, it's probably the perfect leader's track, but I just don't know what to expect with this horse.
No. Also on Sunday, there's Coleraine again now. We've got Periscope, who's eyeing off a hurdle career potentially, but he's also been running well on the flat. Now, he had a hurdle trial Monday and went really well. We actually had the #1 jumps rider on Stephen Pateman, who said he'd stick with him if he went to a maiden hurdle, which was good endorsement for how he goes. But Pat's just a bit inclined. It was about a heavy 20 where they trialled at Coleraine on that inside track. He might just back off, maybe run around on a flat race over 2,300 instead. But again, Fields out tomorrow. The horse that's beat us twice in the last 2 flat races won't be in. That thing of Tom Davening's won't be in the race because it's, you know, probably a 70 level now. So we'll just see what Pat does. But if he runs on the flat, he'll be a winning chance because he beat the third horse by about 4 lengths there on Monday or whatever it was, Sunday.
They really send them around these stayers, don't they? You know, these hurdlers, they really, you know, some of these horses run once a month. These guys seem to run every other week. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
Actually,
like as you say, he's being aimed towards a maiden hurdle in 2 or 3 weeks, and it's getting towards the end of the season. So I suppose Pat wants to get it right, and you know, I'm sure he'll make the right call.
Yep. Monday, Ballarat synthetic, Madam Mischief, Pat again. She trialled up. I can't remember what it was last week at Warrnambool. She's the kind of filly where you just get to the races because we know the way she races and it's on speed, and she's a filly that sort of reaches her fitness levels quick. So I reckon at Ballarat, the way that synthetic's playing, over 1,100 in a benchmark 58, if he goes there, she'd run well.
She'd be one that you want to draw barrier 1 or 2 with. Just jump and run and catch me if you can.
Yep, exactly. And a little bit excited to see our first runner with Philip Stokes on Tuesday at Pakenham on the synthetic again. Two Bay Shore has worked nicely, trialled nicely. It's a 3-year-old maiden, over 1,100. Fairly keen to see him run.
Yeah, he's a really nice 3-year-old gelding by Cable Bay out of our mare Black Velveteen. He's trialled up really nice both times. And I did talk to Philip Stokes after that last trial, and he was really keen on the horse. And I think he's looking forward to getting him to the races and just opening him up and seeing what he's got under race pressure, because around the stables and that, he's shown them that he's a nice horse, but they've got to do it on race day, don't they? So looking forward to seeing him go around next Tuesday. He's sort of in at the right time, and we'll just see what level he can get to.
Be interested whether Luke Nolan puts his hand up to ride, because he was fairly didn't say much. He said a lot without saying much the other day, put it that way. So that's it, Darren. That's all I know of. Obviously, we may have runners, well, not so much the Wednesday, but later into next week. We had a big batch run around, and a lot of those will be the following weekend going forward. But There's some interesting ones there to look at over the next 3 or 4 days.
Well, when you look at them, you've got Purana having a second start, Tubay Shaw having his first career start.
Yep.
Then you got the old timers, you know, Moneybags and Irishman, Never Again, and Man of Mischief that we all know have got ability at different levels. So, you know, most of those horses are going to be competitive, and then on Periscope, you know, when he gets to the jump. So, no, there's a little bit there, and as we get deeper and deeper, or once we get out of this winter, which we've only got, what, 3 weeks left, and get into the spring, then we can really look forward to some of these other horses joining this group. And they'll be horses like Literary Magnate, Steinem, and those sort of horses. So, you know, there's a bit to look forward to in the spring for sure.
Also, I missed one there, a nomination for Lord Lennox at Cranbourne as well in a mile race. So I'm not 100% sure where Robbie goes there, but he'll get back into the system sooner rather than later as well. And you mentioned a few there, and there's the likes of a Dandy Man and a few of those that are trialling up as well. So Street Baby, Dandy Classic, Raise the Colours, they're all in the trial system at the moment, or near enough to. So, yeah, there'll be another batch come through in the next month or 6 weeks.
All right. Well, that takes us out from this week's runners and results. So, horses, yeah, around the money. We just need to get a couple over the line, but with more and more horses targeting city races, it's very difficult. But that's where the money is, and that's where we've got to be. So
I think
we've got our young ones kicking off in the bush, and we've got our better ones running in town.
Yeah, I think last week we made a call that we love to see our 4 all weigh in. 2 did, and the other 2 were about a neck to a half a length away from weighing in. So I think they ran close to our expectations, but we didn't quite get the big end of the ice cream.
No, we're about a length off, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, I haven't got much else, Pete. We'll just see what unfolds over the weekend with our runners, and we'll start to see some of those real quality horses come back to the track now, you know, around Australia, and as we get into the spring. But, you know, more and more likely, there won't be anyone on course, I wouldn't have thought, for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks, and who knows after that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think August you might as well wipe out, and then let's hope once September comes and the spring weather that we can start getting a handful of our owners back on track, because that's the time of year that we all want to be at the races.
Yep. Well, you might be running a few Zoom meetings through these. They seem to be regarded pretty well.
Yeah, we had a collection. We had 2. I did back-to-back with Serious Suspect and Hasseltoff, and I think we had 10 Serious Suspect owners and about 7 Hasseltoff owners. So it was good. There was a few faces or names I could put to faces, or faces to names. So we had a bit of fun. Yeah, it's interesting, the mood. It goes go, there's a bit of barricade, and then it's quiet during the middle of the race. Then there's a bit of hope barricade at the 300, and then it's quiet across the line. I hit the record button at the 400 all the time, hoping that we can have that celebration. So I don't know whether I'm buzzing it or not, but I'll keep doing it until we get a winner.
What about the Hasseltoff one? Surely they were screaming there when he started to make ground.
At the 300, there was a bit of excitement. Then at the 150, and then it sort of just plateaued out. But there was a lot of real happy talk afterwards, because everyone was aware that it was a really good run. Yep, for sure.
Let's chuck that up. All right, mate. Well, let's cut it there, and that's long enough for us, I think, Pete.
Yep.
Until next week, I'm Darren Dance, Peter Morganti. Bring on spring.
See you guys.